I was appointed the interim commissioner this morning by the Board of Regents and came down for that action. Well, I retired after 42 years in public higher education in Illinois, Mississippi, and Kentucky, and have been doing a little consulting since then. And when the opportunity came to me to consider the interim commissionership, I jumped at it. Well, I think we've got probably three things. I'm here for 6 months, maybe a little beyond, depending on circumstances of the search for the permanent replacement. But I think, first of all, we've got to get a search mounted to find a permanent commissioner, and that's going to have to start immediately. Secondly, the GRAD Act implementation that you heard discussed this morning is very important. I think thirdly, we've got to start thinking about planning for the budget problems that are going to be coming in the next year or so. So those three things ought to pretty much take up time, along with the other kinds of things that just happen day to day.
Gotcha. And how do you view the Louisiana budget system compared to other states for higher education?
Well, all states, other than perhaps North Dakota and some of the Plains states, are having really serious budget problems. In my home state, for example, universities are having to borrow money to make payroll. I mean, the state is so far behind on their payments to not just universities but all state agencies. So it's unfortunately a fact of life right now, and truth be told, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better in the next few years. So we're in for some really stressful fiscal times, and the challenge here and elsewhere is to make sure that the educational system does not suffer serious damage and is able to keep moving ahead as best it can with reduced funding.
What is your opinion of the performance-based budgeting?
Well, I'm a proponent of that. It's very much an idea that has finally found its time. I mean, we've talked about it off and on the 42 years I was involved, and I think people are now beginning to see the importance of linking budgeting to outcomes, and so it's a work in progress. I mean, there's a lot of different experiments going on around the country. In fact, I was just appointed to a Higher Education Finance Commission in Illinois. That's one of the things we're going to be looking at up there. So there's a lot of different approaches being discussed. We've got to make sure that our young people have the opportunity to get an education that will enable them to be a productive citizen and to be a part of a productive workforce. And I know people know that and support it, but it's easy when money is tight sometimes to kind of lose sight of the absolute importance of keeping the educational system moving ahead.